Houston and Jacksonville. A big AFC South rivalry game. Fresh off the bye, the 5-3 Houston Texans try to keep their lead in the division as they travel to Jacksonville to face Chris Ivory and the Jags, Mark Sessler.
Everything that we feared could happen with the AFC South is happening all over again because they're going to hoist up an undeserving playoff entry into a pumped-up record that they don't deserve. Houston, assuming they win this game against Jacksonville, which is not a tall order, are currently the third-ranked seed in the AFC, and they're about to go 6-3, and it is the most underwhelming, undeserving 6-3 record that I can remember in the NFL because everything that we thought would be an improvement about the Texans this year, specifically on offense, has been the opposite. They are one of the most unwatchable teams on offense. It begins right with the quarterback. People watching the clip right here saw that pass by Brock Osweiler. That's about a third of his passes right there, these wobblers. And the fact that Ryan Mallett and Brian Hoyer can have the kind of chemistry they did last year with DeAndre Hopkins, and to see what is happening with a $70 million quarterback in DeAndre Hopkins right now is unbelievable, and it's a stigma on this organization.
DeAndre Hopkins, this is criminal, is the lowest ranked wide receiver in the NFL in passer rating.
Wow.
44 passer rating on throws to DeAndre Hopkins, and he is the best contortionist boundary receiver at the catch point receiver in the NFL, which tells you what you need to know about the quarterback.
And it was 93% last year with Brian Hoyer and Mallett towards Hopkins.
I've got a statistic here that supports what you say. The Football Outsiders says the Texans are the single worst team they've ever recorded to have a winning record this late in the season.
Well, it's interesting. It's nice
knew
when
it.
It passes
Wow.
the eye test, but I think we all knew it. I mean, we've seen this this has been blossoming all season long.
It's true. Brock Osweiler, he desperately needs to be better in the red zone on third down. He needs to take better care of the ball.
20-yard line, 30-yard line, 40-yard
all
line,
over
50-yard
the
line.
field.
Here-
He needs to get better.
Like their last game, which they're coming off of a bye, but the last game that they played, they beat the Lions. They didn't have 300 yards of offense against the Lions, which is a really bad performance. And I watched that thinking, okay, he had an okay PFF score. I was like, okay, he's going to have a good game. He had some throws in that game that he missed by 15 yards.
All of this doom and gloom for the Texans, and we didn't bat an eye when Mark just handed them their 6th win of the season. Because the Jaguars are broken because their quarterback is holding the team hostage, and their coach refuses to bench him. They can't move the ball the entire first half of every single game for the past month.
Nathaniel Hackett's not going to be able to change anything, their new offensive coordinator.
Well, they're running better, but
Chris Ivory looked the best he's looked all season last week.
Agreed with you, but let me see that over the course of 3 or 4 weeks. There's nothing about this offense that is sustainable from one week to the next outside of its flaws.
It wouldn't shock me, though, if the Jaguars win this game because the Texans are a different defense at home. I mean, on the road than they are at home. They are a shutdown, one of the best defense in the league at home. On the road, maybe not so much. But for the Jags, before we move on, I do want to see some of their guys we were excited about on defense also step up, make some plays. Like Malik Jackson's been very quiet this season. He doesn't really play that many snaps for a guy that makes that much money. Dante Fowler, we thought he's going to have a big impact. Maybe those guys win a game for him.
Jalen Ramsey hasn't been quiet, but he's
fun to watch.
just talking.
I like him a lot, but I mean, if you want to point to why this coaching staff has failed, it's honestly more defense because this is what they were built to do. We're going to get the young players and build it, and their defense is the same issues they had last year are still present.